So we've been hesitant with this video. We're going to talk meme coins, meme coin pairs. Please know if you're brand new to this DeFi stuff, you probably want to get maybe inspired or educated by this video. I wouldn't necessarily say probably get into anything we're going to talk about. But if you've been in this in a while and you're kind of like, hey, I'm looking for some new opportunities and maybe diversifying my portfolio, and meme coins can make you a lot of money if you play the game right. I don't think they're like a long-term investment, but there are some opportunities. So David's going to kind of walk us through a strategy he's been slowly building on. And again, take things in context that 5,000 to one person might be 100% of their portfolio. I wouldn't recommend that. $5,000 to someone else might be 1% of their portfolio, and they're willing to play with it. So please like use your own kind of like really think through this. But if anything, this will be really educational to you, and you can kind of see what we're working on behind the scenes for more of our riskier part of the portfolio. What do you got, D?
All right, Lucas. So, um, if it turns out that the lows are in for BTC, Sol, and ETH, well, then I want to be determining which assets are going to lead the next leg of this rally higher. Is it going to be AI plays, RWA plays, or memes? And I think that the highest risk, but highest potential reward opportunity lies with the memes on Solana. So, what I've decided to do here is prepare an AI Solana portfolio built for me with the help of ChatGPT and my own little, secret sauce thrown in there. So let's walk through this real quick. Okay, so first things first, I just want to share this real quick. So this is a way to lever up your exposure. Okay, so let me just use this piece of paper real quick. So if I'm starting with $25,000 and I want to build a high risk, high yield portfolio of meme coin pairs with that 25K, the first thing that I would do is I would start by buying Sol with that 25K. So if I'm going to buy Sol with 25K, Sol's trading at 155. Go back over here. I'll say, okay, 25,000 divided by 155. Okay, so I'm going to buy 161 Sol. So I'm going to buy 161 Sol with that 25K. And then I'm going to lend that 161 Sol on Camino, or maybe if you like MarginFi, you could lend there on Camino or MarginFi. And after I have lent my Sol, I'm going to borrow against it. And I'm going to borrow against it, depending on how much risk I want to take. So if I borrow at, let's say, a 50% LTV, then I would be taking more risk than if I was to borrow at a 30% LTV. But if I really want to push it, I could borrow at, let's say, a 60% LTV. Let's say that I do that. Okay, let's push the
Yeah,
leverage
let's get
up a little
risky.
bit
Let's get
here.
degen.
Let's get degen. Let's get risky with this. So if I start with 25K and I'm going to borrow at a 60% LTV, then I'm going to have 15,000 in USDC to deploy. So now I'm going to take a look and see, okay, well, I've got my long exposure here. So I retain my long exposure to Sol, plus I've got 15K to deploy into concentrated liquidity pairs. So which pairs do I deploy into? So what am I looking at here? Well, on Orca, I'd be taking a look first at the top three. And let me just share with everyone what I think are, the potential top three high yielding meme coin pools on Orca right now today. So Mother Popcat is one of them. And if we take a look over here at this is Mother Popcat on Solana on Orca. And what I've done first is I've made sure to set the scale to a log scale. And then I just drew a little Fibonacci extension on the chart here. And I'm looking for the 0.382 level and the 0.236 level. I found that when memes run higher, many times when they correct, they pull back to these important Fibonacci levels. So I just drew this on the chart, and notice it also coincides with a little
Mm.
bit of support here. So I'm going to use this as a basis for me to help set my ranges in these positions. So Mother Popcat is the first one, and with a range similar to what I drew on the chart, I could expect 1/2 of 1% per day. Okay, not killing it with that, but
A
I'm
huge
also
range.
giving myself a huge range, and I'm giving myself plenty of room to the upside here. Now, what's the second one, Lucas? Well, the second one here could be FWOG. Okay, FWOG. Okay, so now I'm going to take a look over here at the chart of FWOG, and I did the same thing. I made sure to set the scale to a log scale. I threw down a little bit of a Fibonacci up on the chart here, and I've got my 382 marked, and my 236 comes in a little bit further down below. So I just went ahead and marked this 382 on the chart, and let's see what FWOG is paying. Okay, 1% with a range similar to what I drew on the chart. Now, the last one here, Lucas, is Moodang. And this was a pump.fun launch on Orca. And this thing took off. It really has run higher. And with a 140% wide range, I'm looking at 3.7% per day or so. So on the chart, I did the same thing. I went ahead and made sure that I'm in a log scale, and I threw down a Fibonacci, and I took a look at the 0.382. And right here, this pattern looks pretty darn good. So even though it's down 25% on the day, I still might wait for an entry if we get a little bit further down towards the 0.382. But this gives me an opportunity to speak to the mindset here, because down 25% on the day, if you're going to enter and create a meme coin portfolio on Solana, you have to be prepared for volatility. And that's why I'm going into this thinking, okay, well, if I can do 1 or 2 or 3 or even more than 3% per day, awesome. But I have to set really wide ranges for myself. And I have to go into this with the understanding that I'm going to see wild volatility in my portfolio. So that means that if I start with 15K, I could easily see this become 10K tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But I went in with conviction in these memes because I think that we're about to see the next leg higher in BTC, Sol, and ETH. And so if we're about to see the next leg higher, then hey, I'm making a bet. I'm making a bet that memes are going to appreciate by more on percentage basis than any other sector in crypto. So I'm picking a couple of high paying memes. I'm first lending Sol and then borrowing against it to lever up my position in the first place. And then I'm going to take this 15K, deploy it into a handful of memes. But notice what I've done by first
Mm-hmm.
lending Sol and borrowing against it. Now, instead of 25K to work with, I've got a total of 25K plus that 15.
40K.
So I've got a total of, 40K. So
Mm-hmm.
that's leverage right there.
And I
And
think I like how you bring up that last part of the risk is if this is 100% of your portfolio and you degen into this, of course, if things go down 25%, you're going to freak out and sell. If this is a small portion of your portfolio and it's something that you're just, you're willing to take the risk on, then you can remain calm. And like stuff like this, I'm like, if I lose 50% of the value, I need to be okay with that. And that is what it is. But the upside is so high. So just take a note. Like we don't talk about meme coins or these kind of high risk stuff on YouTube often because it can lack context and it can just become kind of a whatever they call that. What is it? A click fest or whatever they call that. I don't want this video being that, but I just want to show you that maybe with a portion of your portfolio, you can start thinking this way. And these are conversations we have in Fast Track and with kind of higher level clients that understand the risks here. So please understand that. But um, again, these concepts are applicable across anything you're doing, I guess, ultimately. So I love it.
yeah, very high risk, but very high return potentially.
High risk, high return.